named this network after Gunther, and he is my beloved friend. Over the weekend, I don't know what hit me. I mean, I still miss Gunther a lot, but emotionally, I'm ready for a new canine companion. Now, granted, I wish I had done it during Gunther's lifetime. It would have made dealing with his death a little bit easier because uh, my parents lost two dogs in that time. Actually, one of them was in my care. The dachshund named Hilly, and then an Akita named Shu. But I would love to have had Gunther's influence on the next pet. But over the weekend, I don't know, I just felt like I had let go of Gunther to a certain extent. I still treasure the memories, his friendship, his love that he brought to the world. But, emotionally I'm ready for another dog. Financially, though, that's another story. And plus, the hours that I work, it wouldn't exactly be fair, especially since a dachshund, which is what I'm probably going to get at some point, requires a lot of attention, especially a young dachshund. But anyway, that's what's going on. I just wanted to pass that along. But even though I'll refer to Gunther from time to time and bring up a story, and I miss it. Emotionally, I've moved on. It's just like a weight had been lifted. Sad and entertainment news over the weekend. I learned yesterday that famed singer Linda Ronstadt, remember her, the Stone Ponies, soloed in the early 70s, early 80s, lots of hits. Well, I learned yesterday that she was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 8 months ago. And even sadder yet, that she says she's no longer able to sing, that the Parkinson's has made it difficult for her to sing anymore, which is really tragic because I love hearing her voice. She had great music. And so, in honor of her coming out and announcing that she has Parkinson's, which, by the way, you can see the effects on her face in a recent picture I saw of her. So on the Song of the Day today, I'm going to be playing some Linda Ronstadt for you later on in the program. Speaking of Parkinson's, I worked with a man who was diagnosed with Parkinson's several years ago. I worked with him for about a year when I worked at KRX as news director. His wife was a state representative for the 2nd District for a couple of years. But anyway, I know a lot of the people made fun of his short-term memory loss. I don't know, I guess it's their way of dealing with it. I'm all for self-deprecating humor. My dad was the master of it, especially when he dealt with his own cancer. But Parkinson's is no laughing matter because my friend, his name went blank, Marvin McClanahan. Anyway, his short-term memory was severely affected. He had trouble remembering. Now, he knew my credentials, he knew my post, but he had difficulty remembering my name. But Parkinson's is a nasty disease. It's cruel, partly because it can manifest itself slowly and then last for years, sometimes even decades, before patients finally succumb to it or other complications. So hopefully Linda Ronstadt won't have to suffer too much through this ordeal. But nevertheless, I'll be keeping an eye on her story as we move along. Speaking of moving along, another singer who I don't have much admiration for, especially now, is Miley Cyrus. I heard about this morning, reading a friend's Facebook page, her comment about it. Apparently last night, at last night's MTV Video Music Awards, which, by the way, surprises me because I didn't think MTV played videos anymore, other than their stupid reality shows, is getting lots of attention. Apparently she, after a couple of numbers or something, she basically stripped down to her underwear and danced around, grinded around on some other musician whose name escapes my mind and I don't really give it two hoots in hell about. But we all get it that she's growing up and that she's not this cute little naive Hannah Montana anymore by any means. But that was not art from the clips that I saw. Granted, I didn't watch the whole thing, But what really disturbed me, not just the fact that this young lady stripped down to her underwear, which I'm sure is the fantasy of many young men and perverted old men. But what really bothers me is what one comedian said, and I can't remember his name now. Hopefully, it'll come back to me. But he said something to the effect that Miley Cyrus will have to get a pregnancy test after that move. And I'm thinking, that may be what's running through your mind, but there are just some things you don't say. But Miley, whatever's going through your head, please get help. But I think it's the Lindsay Lohan effect. That she's in denial right now about, problems that her parents are facing and so forth. We all get that you're growing up, but you sure are not behaving like a lady by any means. In other things on my mind today, Donald Trump, well, the state of New York is suing him for $40 million. To which I say, all right, I don't like Donald Trump. He's an overgrown bully. Well, apparently his schools that he set up designed to help people make more money has failed to come through, at least according to New York State government officials. So the Attorney General's office is suing for 40 million smackers. And that's a story that I'm going to be following and hopefully have more details on as the matter comes to full light, should it go to trial. And finally, locally, it's a tradition here in Kirksville, has been for the past several years. One of the local churches, the Hamilton Street Baptist Church, which is not too far from where I live, they have an outdoor service every August or early September. For a couple of years, it got rained out and had to be postponed. I think one year it just got canceled altogether because it kept raining every single weekend. So much so, I tell you, this park, it's a beautiful park, but every year, even though there are a couple of creeks that run through here, and they're mostly dry and fairly deep, but if we get a substantial amount of rain and the ground is very moist, the lower part of the park floods very badly. And I thought about conducting a little experiment into how many of these people are truly Christian. Now, it may sound evil of me, but to me, if you're going to live by the faith, if you're going to rub the faith into other people's faces, I like to put that to the test. And I thought about, what if I posed myself as a guy who was homeless, or was kicked out of his house, or had nowhere to go? What if I parked out here and pretended to be asleep? Would any of them come over and check on my well-being? And, see how far along they would, if they would just do what Jesus would have done, or, provided me shelter, or asked if I needed assistance, or things of that nature, or if they would try to preach the gospel to me at the same time. Because this leads me to a bigger point. I'm probably going to take some heat for this, but to me, the purpose of broadcasting, of opinion pieces, is to stir up people's thinking, to question about what they're doing, what they should be doing, or what they have been doing in that case. And to me, one of my biggest gripes are Christian missionaries, historically speaking. Now, I'm not knocking Christian missionaries. I've participated in some. So I'm as guilty as charged. And I've sponsored some, and I've even participated in some, as I've said. But Christian missionaries in general is basically like, at least a lot of churches, not all of them, but a lot of churches, will say, well, what exotic place could we go to, send a bunch of our people who could afford it and have the time, like going to, say, Africa or India, where there's a lot of poverty. We'll send all these resources there, which I don't have a problem with in of itself. But at the same time, you go there, and, you carry an essence of your culture with you at all times. You behave as your culture would expect to a certain extent. That's just the way humans are. We're social animals. What I'm getting at is, what bothers me is about a lot of missionaries, and why I wanted to put this to the test yesterday, was that it would be like me going to your house and saying that you're not up to my standards, or that maybe you don't have enough food, which I give you some food, but let me spread my faith to you. let me force my ideology down your throat. You know, I'm a guest in your home, but yet I'm saying to you, I don't like the way you're living spiritually. My way is better, okay? I'm hoping I'm conveying my point here. And so what I wanted to test was to see how far some of these people are, to see if they really would live up to their faith. If you're not prepared to dance to your own music, then don't go around preaching, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully I made myself clear. If not, I'll try to clarify when I've had a little more sleep and then think a little bit more clearly. Let's see what else has come up. Well, that pretty much takes care of my notes for that segment of the program. And we'll get to Today in History in just a moment. Again, I wish to remind you to go to my website, tinyurl.com/Gunther's House, to find out the latest programming schedules, changes, and what's coming up, that type of thing, and also the latest news and weather information. Plus, you can email me your requests, suggestions, ideas, or thoughts at Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com. That's Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com. All right. Things you need to know today. It's National Dog Day. So to the Fido or Fidoettes in your life, today is National Dog Day, and it's your day. And also, over the weekend, Anthony Weiner reportedly was in a car accident. Well, you try to drive and take photos at the same time, see if you can get out of a fender bender without causing any damage. So hopefully I'll have more details on that. Powerball winner finally claims his millions. An up to now unidentified New Jersey man, who is one of three to win this month's $411 million Powerball jackpot, has finally been revealed. Mario Scarnisi of Monmouth Junction, New Jersey, will receive an estimated $62 million after paying his taxes. And Burning Man is running from now until Monday, September 2nd in Black Rock, Nevada. Once a year, tens of thousands of participants gather to create Black Rock City, dedicated to community art, self-expression, and self-reliance. They depart 1 week later, leaving no trace whatsoever. Sounds interesting. That's going on in Black Rock, Nevada. I'm going to step aside for a little bit. I have Today in History in a few minutes, as well as celebrity birthdays. After this break, though, we'll take a look at the nationwide weather forecast on this edition of First Cup. I'm your host, Joe Haffner.
When beetles fight these battles in a bottle with their paddles, and the bottle's in a poodle, and the poodle's eating noodles, they call this a muddle, puddle, tweedle, poodle, beetle, noodle, bottle, paddle, battle. This man is a genius.
I don't have any feathers.
Today, about 1 in 5 Americans is living with a disability. Over 50 million people, including many of our friends and neighbors, teachers and co-workers, heroes and leaders. 20 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act guaranteed every person the right to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience. We've come a long way since then, and we are committed to making even more progress in the years ahead. Visit disability.gov to see how you can help.
This September, our state lawmakers have the opportunity to make history.
Because for the first time in nearly 100 years, Missouri can stop spending and start growing.
By returning a budget surplus back to Missouri taxpayers.
And let Missouri families spend their money better than politicians.
Because we need to grow our economy, not the size of government.
Tell our state leaders 100 years is long enough.
Visit growmissouri.com to learn more.
Stop spending, stop growing.
Hi, everybody. Over the past month, I've been visiting towns across America, talking about what our country needs to do to secure a better bargain for the middle class. This week, I met with high school and college students in New York and Pennsylvania to discuss the surest path to the middle class, some form of higher education. But at a moment when higher education has never been more important, it's also never been more expensive. That's why over the past 4 years, we've helped make college more affordable for millions of students and families with grants and loans that go farther than before.